Steven, explain to me what's the point of having an off day right when opening day happens the next day?
Because they're trying to make opening day more special, more unique, more isolated.
And then just have nobody play the next day? Only had
Not
five
nope.
games yesterday.
I know. I know. It was the
I do
first
not
time since
understand the point of
1960.
that.
First time since 1968, Derek. All teams played on opening day.
That's great, but what's the point of the next day? Everyone taking the day off.
I don't know. It's stupid.
That was stupid.
Bizarre. Yeah.
Very bizarre. I don't like it.
Yeah. Well, just another chance for the Giants to do some extremely strange things to their lineup, and just another chance for the A's to outshine their opponent with speed.
Oh yeah, A's right now are the kings of baseball in the Bay Area.
Hey, man, 1-0, 162-0, man.
There you go. We'll
It's
get
not
all
off the
to it.
table.
There we go. Exactly. We'll get all to it today on Just Your Opinion, man. Stephen Langford, Derek Papa. We got tons to talk about today. Baseball has started. Warriors, 4 games remaining. A lot of other things. Sorry, I just hear construction going on in the background.
Oh,
The
it's the
hell's going
worst.
on? God, I love the sound of jackhammering. We'll get all to it today.
Jackhammering?
Something.
Is it is it jackhammering?
Someone's doing construction. God.
That's the worst.
Yeah, great to hear that during a Saturday. Anyway, we'll get all to it today, but first off, we got to get to the news of the day. This just broke a couple of hours ago. Steven, we talked about this. Didn't know if it was going to happen, but it is. Raiders trading up from 7th to 3rd in the 2023 NFL Draft. You would presume that they're going to go after the quarterback that will be available after C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young. Your thoughts?
You're not going to get me on this day, Derek. You're not going to get me today. Nothing you said. I'm not believing a word you said. I barely believe that you said that there's barely any games the day after opening day. I barely even believe that because I know what today is. We're recording this on April Fool's Day, and I'm sure there would have been a little more buzz had the Raiders traded up to 3 because I instantly would have gotten a text from you. I would have gotten a text from my brother and Spadoni. And instead, the only thing I got from my brother was some text about Formula One. So if that happens, good on them. But they're not logical enough to do that.
Ooh, well, that's a shot. It's a shot at me for being predictable with my tomfoolery on Tomfoolery Day.
You did it too early, Derek. You did it too early.
I know. I'll try something else during the show. But well, it's kind of been ruined. It's kind of been ruined having this on a Saturday. I kind of like the weekday vibe of an April Fool's Day where we can fool the listeners or whatever. I just don't like a weekend April Fool's Day. It's kind of ruined because isn't today going to be the last day that people are allowed to have blue check marks on Twitter?
Supposedly, yeah.
So that's going to cause a lot of foolery because you're going to have a lot of people with blue check marks that are verified tweeting out dumb shit. Like, I'm surprised I haven't seen even Schefter. He likes to fuck with people on April Fool's Day. I'm surprised we haven't gotten like a fake Aaron Rodgers trade or something today yet.
Yeah. I'm sure that's coming though. Something like that'll happen. I don't know what it's going to be. I think I saw a headline here, but I think the French dude, but he plays in Australia, Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, the number one potential number one pick in the NBA draft.
Yeah, he said he was opting out of the draft earlier, and people believed him.
Oh, you saw that one?
Yeah. It's like, are you kidding me? He's not gonna do that. Anyway.
Well, he may be the number one pick for the Spurs after watching them play last night.
Oh, he does play in France. Yeah, and
he is French.
The Spurs easily could be the number one pick. It all depends on the lottery, but yeah, the Spurs stink.
Well, they kept in with the Warriors last night. But we'll get all to it. But yeah, I don't like that we don't have I don't know, the weekday of an April Fool's Day. But that's just me.
What's the joke? Like, what's your peak April Fool's Day moment where like you feel like okay, I got to top this one. Like, this is the one.
I don't know if I ever will, but I did enjoy one time I was doing the show with Bonte and my pops, and I started the show with the intro of Haberman and Middlecoff, and a lot of people being like, "What? Whoa!" And then we instantly went into the show open for ours. But of course, I got a stern talking to after that prank, as I usually did back in the day.
That's the best you could come up with.
As far as me doing something professionally on the air,
Oh, professional on the air.
I
Gotcha.
tricked my
Yeah.
dad one time thinking that Daniel Jones got traded to the. Sorry, not Daniel Jones. Who was the other guy? Josh Rosen. Like, got. It's usually NFL free agency stuff that I try to fool people with
Right.
because we're still in that time period. I don't know. I'll figure something out. I was actually thinking about coming on here and being like, well, because of the new Twitter rules, if you're not verified, you can't have a live stream. So this is our last show on Twitter.
That actually would have been a really good one. Would have been better than the Raiders trading up.
Yeah, I don't want to fool people too much. And like, honestly, like, how many people would have cared about that? Only Ernie would be like, "Oh no, it's your last show, guys."
Yeah, well, I'm sure it would have gotten the 3 viewers that we get on live Twitter buzzing. We would have had the thing. You know how like people will post, when they got laid off, and then everyone is like giving in the responses, they're saying how much good work they do and how much the company's going to regret this decision. Blah blah blah. That's what it's going to be like for Twitter with us if we go off the air live. People are going to be like, "Oh, Twitter making a huge mistake for not bringing you guys live anymore."
Yeah, I think people care more about Jim Trotter not coming back than us.
That's a little something. Yeah, that's got some layers to it. My goodness.
I'm not the least bit surprised. I don't want to get too much into that, but I figured. I mean, like, not that it's justified or anything, but I figured with Jim Trotter poking the bear a little bit with Roger Goodell, that was eventually going to happen.
Yeah, but these guys are. I don't know, man. It's not a shock not because of what Jim Trotter did, or I guess it is what Jim Trotter did in the way that he approached Goodell, but like understanding how what's the word to describe the NFL? Like conniving? I don't know. Like just how sneaky they all are. Like it's bound to happen. So I guess I'm not surprised in that respect.
Well, aren't all sports leagues like that?
Not necessarily. I mean, people challenge Rob Manfred on a lot of things. It's not necessarily like that, but
Even
I don't know.
you.
I've never challenged Rob Manfred on anything.
Please, you wanted to two-face him.
That was an accident. I didn't know
That was an accident.
that was accidental wording.
Yeah. Speaking of leagues making rules and whatnot, you see the new NBA CBA?
Yeah, so I saw what they can add 3 two-way players, but they're also going to penalize those who go even more into the luxury tax.
I guess so, which was bad news for old Joe Lacob
Yeah,
because he loves that luxury tax.
let's do it. Let's pull it up. We can keep talking about it. We'll pull it up though. I got it on ESPN right here.
Well,
All right.
the biggest thing that I saw was that we're going to have a play-in tournament. Or sorry, not a play-in tournament. We already have that in the NBA.
I was like, what?
In-season tournament, and we're going to have an in-season tournament for the NBA now.
That thing's been in discussion for years. You're surprised by that?
Well, I think it's just incredibly stupid. So what the hell is this?
I mean, the midseason tournament isn't a way to create incentive for guys to play. That's all they're trying to do. Is they're trying to create new ways for these guys to actually want to participate in the regular season.
Is that going to take away from the 82 game schedule?
I don't believe so.
It's just part of it?
I think so. The in-season tournament could arrive. The event will include pool playing baked in the regular season schedule starting in November. The 18th, this Final Four will be held at a neutral site in Las Vegas. Prominent in discussion would count toward the NBA. There you go. Each in-season tournament game would count toward the standings. 2 finalists would ultimately play an 83rd game. So.
Huh. Okay. So then, we basically we just stop the regular season for I don't know how many games. I don't know how this in-season tournament is going to go. We just stop the regular season, then we have this little weird in-season tournament, and then go back to playing regular season games.
Okay, Derek, I know you hate tradition, but be honest. How many December basketball games are you actually watching when you got football?
Not a whole lot, but I just don't
Exactly. You don't like it because it's straying away from tradition. You don't care.
Well, I do think that the regular season of the NBA has gone down,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of, load management and whatnot, and guys are resting more than ever. But I don't really
Oh my
understand
god.
what the point of this is.
Oh, this is gonna be great when they you're gonna this is gonna be great when they got like a race for the NFC. They got some fantastic game going on Monday Night Football, and then they're gonna place the Final Four on that day, and you're gonna be like, "Why are they trying to compete with the NFL for this? This is stupid."
Well, in reality, Steven, you think they're probably gonna get crushed? If this is on the same
Yeah,
Sunday as the NFL,
no, it's like a. I'm just making a hypothetical here. There's no days that have been uh that have been discussed, but yeah, it's kind of you're right though. All jokes aside, it's very it is hacky. Like, what's the point? I mean, the fact that players need incentives to actually play because they know that they're probably going to be getting in anyway with the amount of teams that go into the postseason in the first place. It is hacky.
yeah, I'm not a fan of this whole thing. But I guess weren't gonna make any changes to the rule of draft eligibility. So they were
Mm,
thinking about maybe going back to the old high school rule of, you come straight out of high school, Kobe
mm,
Bryant, LeBron James, Tracy McGrady, all that.
right.
But they tabled that for now. So I don't really don't know what significant moves were made. I guess just the in-season tournament, and I guess there's a qualification for players. You have to play 65 games in order to be qualifying for the MVP. So
Yeah, that's what they were. That's what they were discussing with the PA, the NBA PA, the Players Association. They wanted to try to find a. It was weird. They wanted to find a way to keep players as healthy as possible, but also they wanted to figure out a way for players to actually play at the games and avoid load management. But like, I don't know, man. The thing is too, it's under the assumption this 65 game minimum is that guys are up for the guys want to win these individual awards. Maybe I don't know enough about these dudes, but to me, like the one poster child for load management is Kawhi Leonard, and it's like, does Kawhi care so much about a regular in season tournament? If or not a regular in season, does he care about playing in a limited amount of regular season games or up to a limit rather? And then what? So he can win an individual award but possibly get hurt?
as far as I'm concerned, he's won the two most. I mean, he's won the most important individual award you can win in the NBA twice. That's Finals MVP. So I
Hmm.
think that's all he cares about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's his thing. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's bizarre. And then what's the other one? The one that's really gonna the one that's kind of a shot at the Warriors, to be honest.
The
The
luxury
NBA.
tax.
Yeah, the NBA curbing the ability of the highest spending teams to continue running up salary and luxury tax spending while still maintaining mechanisms to add talent to the roster.
No more checkbook wins, huh?
No more checkbook wins. The NBA is implementing a second salary cap apron, and those teams will no longer have access to the taxpayer mid-level in free agency. But I also think some teams would look at that and just go, "Ooh, you're not going to give us a mid-level player? We're going to go over the tax anyway when we fill our team with stars. Thanks."
Exactly. That's not going to stop Joe Lacob from doing what he always wants to do. Oh, you
Oh
think you can
man,
stop me from getting more players? Huh, you're wrong.
6.5 million? Yeah, that's a good value. We can get better value. 6.5 million.
Yeah.
I think that's the taxpayer mid-level. Anyway,
All right. CBA talk aside, let's actually get to some real basketball on the
well,
court.
hang on, real quick, real
Well,
quick. Can
do
we
it.
do? Can we talk about one more CBA that was agreed to?
Sure, by all means, sir. Bring it on.
The minor league CBA. Did you see this?
No.
Well, so they have their first ever collective bargaining agreement. The MLB Players Union
Oh,
is
oh, oh.
now
Yes,
representing the
I
minor
did
leaguers,
see this. I did see this. Yes.
and I'm just, it's funny. You'd think that this is the type of CBA where they want to avoid a situation, maybe like with Kyler Murray, where he's choosing football over baseball because he knows how much guaranteed money he's going to get was he's as the first overall pick. Like, screw the injury risk that you have playing football. I'm going to get this money, and they're like raising the minimum salaries. It's like it will more than double. Well, look at the minimum salaries. 4,800 for rookie ball, 11,000 for single A, 11,000 for high A, 13.8, 17.5 for triple A. Like, ooh, you're doubling those salaries? Sheesh. What a change. I mean, it's good for these minor league players. I'm happy for them, but is there really that much more incentive, especially if you're playing, say, like you're a single A player in or a high A player? No, it's a low A player rather in San Jose. Yeah, you're gonna go to the Bay Area. Now you're making $26,000 as your annual salary. Whew, man, can't wait to play baseball for the Giants organization.
Yeah, no, then it's true. It's not a big of an increase, but
It's just like it's just we're they're patting themselves on the back, but they're still underpaying these guys significantly compared to what the major league players are getting, and even the major league players like that whole business is just corrupt, man. It bothers me the way that they treat those guys.
so you do agree that all the leagues are slimy and sleazy?
Yeah, for the most part, in their own way. I think baseball is. I mean, come on, man. You can't even in football. You can be done with your rookie deal for you're a first round pick. Be done with your rookie deal in 4 years, and then you get your money. You have the whole situation where it's like, oh, the team can pick up the option. You can test free agency. You can do whatever you want to do. In baseball, it's like, hey, we got to wait 6 years until we could think about that. For now, we're just going to be going to arbitration for 6 years and
Yeah,
earning 1 year contracts.
I never liked the arbitration thing because then it's kind of in a way like the franchise tag, but also just kind of like really puts you against your player, where you have to
Hmm.
bring in a mediator to be like, well, this person's great in free agency, or no, this person's not.
Dude, it's like anyone who is whenever I do like a 5 a.m. show and I'd be talking baseball contracts, there'd be some people who say like I don't understand all the
Yeah,
things that go into the contract,
I honestly don't sometimes either.
and I'm like, don't bother understanding because you'll lose respect for the way the sport handles these things if you start understanding it.
See, if people give the NFL shit all the time, but all the sports leagues are sleazy in their own way of not wanting to give the players the whole piece of the pie.
Hmm. Hmm. Especially when they're billion-dollar organizations. By the way, did that SIP come through
Yes, can hear
through
that
my?
sip.
Oh, I apologize. Okay, I'm gonna mute. That's gross. Nothing worse than that. I'm sorry. I'm on my first cup of coffee. The cogs are turning, but and I'm doing like a lot of talking. But there was
Yeah,
these
this
videos
is your
on.
first cup of coffee, you said?
Yep, I'm seeing. I'm seeing the videos of people like trying food, but they keep the volume up on their phone to the maximum so you could hear every little bite and all of the food moving around in their mouth. It's nasty. Nasty.
Yeah, it comes with the territory of you watching that, though.
This is facts. It is my fault. It is my
Actually,
fault, but I'm
I
going to
have
watch it.
gotten
I'm going to
back
complain.
in. Yeah, I have been getting back into watching Hot Ones. I watched the Dave Grohl episode for the first time last week. God, what a fantastic episode! They became best
Delight,
friends in the end.
delightful, isn't he?
Oh yeah,
Delightful.
and just
Except
unfazed too.
the finger though, the finger into the drink.
Yeah, me and my friends were talking about that. Like if Dave Grohl doesn't wash his hands thoroughly, that's disgusting.
It's gross.
Yeah, but hey, they're buddies. Him and Sean Evans. I guess. No, has anyone tried that where you take a shot in between eating wings? Does that probably like helps numb the pain?
Maybe. It wasn't a shot necessarily though. They were taking like there was some soda involved in that. There was like a
Yeah, that's
mixer,
true. Actually, yeah,
I think, right? It looked like a mixer.
it did. But yeah, he was mixing coke in it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
But
what it looked like. Great
Dave,
episode though.
oh yeah, fantastic episode. I need to watch more. Apparently there's a new one with Florence Pugh where she sweats out her eyebrows.
She does. She's delightful as well.
She is delightful, and I love her name, Florence Pugh. All
Pew pew
right,
pew.
don't do that. Let's talk about some actual sports, some things that actually went down the basketball court instead of not being done in contracts and whatnot with the league. So, Warriors, 4 games remaining after they beat the San Antonio Spurs last night, and they kind of needed a little. And it wasn't as bad as the last game against the Pelicans where they're down by 20, but still they were kind of lollygagging a little bit against the second worst team in the NBA. They were fine. They kicked into high gear in the fourth quarter. Steph Curry had a great game. Klay Thompson had a great game. And it's a game against the Spurs. And I don't really know what to make of it. I'm more interested in what happens Sunday against the Denver Nuggets after they've lost 2 in a row, but they've rested Jokic. And I watched a little bit of that game last night, the Nuggets and Suns. I love the old school Suns uniforms with like the Steve Nash or like
Mm,
late '90s Jason Kidd uniforms. That's what they were wearing last night. Those were great. But
yeah.
Jokic didn't play in that game, and I think the Suns had a 20-point lead at one point, and then they squandered it a little bit in the fourth quarter. They got some things to work out with their basketball team because Kevin Durant, while they are I think undefeated when Kevin Durant plays with them, they still need time to figure things out. Like they only scored I think like 90 something points last night, and they kind of got stale after a while. They still need to figure out how they want to move the ball with him in the lineup, or if they want to go ISO ball with him. But going between the two teams and everything in the Western Conference, Warriors have 4 games remaining. Like I said, they play the Nuggets on Sunday. They play the Thunder. Then they play the Kings, who wrapped up a playoff spot and will be in the playoffs for the first time since 2006. So now the New York Jets will have the longest playout drought in American sports right now between the 4 teams, or between the 4 major sports.
Mm.
And then the Warriors finish up things a week from tomorrow against the Trailblazers. So, Steven, I ask you, if we look at the Western Conference standings right now, and I pull it up and you can pull it up as well, we go through it. Currently, the Nuggets are 1, Grizzlies are 2, Kings are 3. All 3 teams have clinched playoff berths. Then you got the Suns at 4, Clippers at 5, Warriors at 6, and then the play-in teams currently would be the Lakers, Pelicans, Timberwolves, Thunder, and then you got the Dallas Mavericks with the big move they made with Kyrie Irving sitting outside of the club right now. So we have, like I said, a week and a day before the regular season ends on Easter Sunday. And then we get everything set up with the playoffs, the play-in, and the seeding. So we will do a show in between then, but we'll have less games in between that time. So a week before this all goes down, I ask you, Steven, how do you see this going between, I guess, the whole Western Conference? When it's all said and done, what do you think the seeding is going to be?
Well, I mean, the 7 through 10 is impossible to even try and figure out. Look, I personally think the top 6 is going to stay the way that it's going to be. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I really don't know with the Clippers. I actually got to look up the Clippers schedule. I haven't looked up their schedule yet. But let me see. Who do they got? They got the Pelicans. They got the Lakers. They also have the Blazers, and then
Pelicans
they
are playing
have,
well lately.
and they're also going to have the Suns at the end. So really, 3 tough. Oof. I mean, the Warriors could sneak their way into a 5 spot straight up, but I think it's going to. I think the top or the 4, 5, 6, and then the 7 through 10. I mean, you could go either way with that. I don't know how that's going to shake down. I mean, who knows, man? I think the Warriors are going to be in the 6th, though. I do trust them to do that because I think 1.5 games is too much for the Lakers to overcome, and the fact that the Warriors have some very winnable games coming up. Like you said, without Jokic, the Nuggets they're beatable, and I think they're saving them for a first round matchup because I do not want to suffer the same defeat as last year. And then the Thunder game's one I'm interested in watching though, because that team's right up there. The Warriors have had their number, but that Thunder game's going to be an interesting one. But I think it's going to just remain there. And then 7 through 10, I mean, that's dealer's choice. How can you really choose between teams that all have 39 wins?
So I play this out with great website, Playoff Predictor. Like
Hmm.
everybody uses like the NFL playoff machine on ESPN. This does it for all season long. So if you go to playoffpredictor.com, you can do it through all the major sports leagues and just play. You can just pick the games for every team and see what the playoffs will shake up like. So I did it for the remaining schedule of the NBA, and the way that I see it going down is the Nuggets will remain at 1, but I don't know much how long they're going to rest Jokic because it's not like they've pulled away so much where they've clinched the number 1 seed. They're 2 games behind, or the 2 games ahead of the Grizzlies.
Hmm.
So they still need to, wrap that up. So I would assume that Jokic is going to play tomorrow against the Warriors. The way that I see it, I got the Suns remaining at number 1. I got the Grizzlies at number 2. Now that the Kings have clinched, I wonder if they're going to be a little laid back heading into the playoffs. So I got the Suns leapfrogging the Kings and going to number 3. Yep. I got
How?
the
How?
in the
How?
game.
There's like barely any games left, and they're 5 games ahead.
4. No, they're not. Oh, yeah, you're right, actually. Wait, how did this play out for me when I did this? Hold on. So the Kings have how many games remaining left? Hold on here. The Kings played last night? No.
Yeah, they got 5 games on the schedule, but
So, okay, so they
tomorrow
got
is the
5 games.
Spurs.
So they could
They got
beat.
the Spurs, Pelicans, the Mavs, the Warriors, and then the Nuggets. So you
Honestly,
think they're just going to lose all 5?
not all 5. They could lose. They could beat the Spurs. So then, what would that make for the Suns? Then, hang on. Did I totally fuck this up? Hold on. How many games do the Suns have left?
Gosh. 5. Thunder, Spurs, Nuggets, Lakers, Clippers.
So, okay. So let's say that the Suns win the rest of their game. So they go 5-0 the rest of the way. That would make them 47-35. So then if the Kings. Yeah, you're right. That can't work. Okay, never mind then. I don't. Well, the or NBA playoff predictor. I must have fucked it up then. Okay. Well, then in that case, I guess the Kings are locked in at number 3. I guess then the Suns would stay at 4, and the Warriors. I could see the Warriors leapfrogging the Clippers
Yeah.
and going to 5, and the Clippers being at 6. And then you're playing. I'm not gonna rule out that the Mavericks get into the play-in tournament because I think they can. Probably the Thunder would be the team I would move from that. So right now, currently, who are the play-in teams? It's the Lakers, it's the Pelicans, it's the
Pelicans, the Timberwolves, and the Thunder.
Yeah, I would probably say the Mavericks make it and the Timberwolves are out. So not a whole lot of changes. I think we potentially could see a first-round matchup between the Warriors and Phoenix Suns.
Mhm.
It would be cool to see the Sacramento Kings and have that, close, somewhat Bay Area rivalry in the first round. But I don't know. I'm kind of upset with myself that I swear that's how it came out in my NFL or my NBA playoff predictor, is that it must be that the Kings have won a game recently that I didn't think they were going to win. They played last night, Kings? No, they didn't.
Not sure. The
Thursday,
these
maybe?
websites that you choose to predict the seasons, whew. You had that one in football season where you had the Raiders somehow going 13-4.
That was the same website.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I think I had the Kings didn't play last night either. Did they? Oh, I had the Kings losing at least one game to the Trailblazers. That's why. So it
Gotcha.
would have been that the Suns and Kings had the same record, but the Suns get the tiebreaker for whatever reason.
Oh, okay.
So I guess
gotcha.
the Kings have locked in that 3rd seed. So maybe they will
Yeah.
get complacent a little bit now.
Yeah. 2006, man. What a time. Did you
I saw your tweet.
Dude. Top 100. Terrible.
What?
Terrible that year. The top 100 for the Billboard Top 100, the songs from 2006. It's like every time you always do that exercise on radio. It's like, oh, back the last time the team did this, this was the number 1 movie and this was the number 1
Yeah.
song. So I did that in 2006. Very underwhelming, extremely underwhelming.
As far as songs
And movies. Like, look at these songs from 2006: Bad Day, Temperature, Promiscuous, You're Beautiful, Hips Don't Lie,
all
Crazy should
bangers.
have been number 1.
Yeah, I remember Crazy from 2006. Gnarls Barkley.
Riding and Sexy Back. Can't be without you, baby.
Yeah, what are you talking about? These are all bangers.
Grills. What was the? Oh my gosh! The Chris Brown "Run It." That's when Chris Brown officially joined the pop culture stardom list category.
Wait, Bad Day was the number 1 song of that year?
Bad Day was the number 1 song of that year.
You had a bad day. You take your one down. You sing a sad song just to turn it around.
Yep, you know it.
I'm surprised I know it that well.
Well, Snap Your Fingers, Lean With It, Rock With It, London Bridge.
Oh, yeah. Snap your fingers, do the stare.
Yeah. Neo, So Sick of Love Song.
So this was underwhelming to you. despite the fact that we know the words to all these songs.
You know what? I looked up the top 10, but not the rest of the top 100. This is all full of bangers.
Yeah, so you're quick to judge.
I found you, Miss New Booty. Quick to judge. I'm quick to judge. Yeah, I'm quick to judge. You're right.
Yeah, seriously, you're shitting on 2006. Was a great year. Raiders went 2-14.
Oh yeah, that was like probably the worst year they've ever had.
It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
My humps.
Oh
Wow.
yeah, see.
Because of you, I never stray too high on the high.
Okay, so what's your point with the movies?
Well, the movies. Let me look up the movies here.
I like the Pirates of the Caribbean sequel. I want to say maybe like the #1 movie of that year.
It was, but
as far as box office.
Yeah, as far as box office, the top grossing movies.
Trying to think of other movies from back then. Jackass 2.
Well, there's going to be one that's ultimately the #1 that you'll see here in a second. Pirates of the Caribbean, Cars, X-Men, Da Vinci Code, Superman, Ice Age, Happy Feet. Over the Hedge was number 8. What?
What the hell was Over the Hedge?
That was the one with Bruce Willis as the raccoon and Steve Carell as the squirrel.
Oh, yeah.
I think Gary Shandling was a turtle.
Yeah, Gary Shandling, nice.
Yeah.
Casino Royale, Talladega Nights, Click.
Oh, Click. Mission Impossible 3. The Departed. The Departed is the #1. That's the #1 movie. You can't tell me otherwise.
No, it was a great movie.
Night at the Museum. Inside Man. Very underrated. Just a hell of a Santa Claus 3, dog. Jack Frost. Let's go.
See, like to me though, when I think about this stuff, 2006 doesn't sound like that long ago.
All right, right. That's the thing. That's maybe why it was underwhelming. It's not like, whoa, that came out in 2006. It's more, yeah, that came out in 2006.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh yeah, that's high school for me. It just feels like yesterday.
So like the longest playoff drought really isn't that long. It's just because no other team had missed the playoffs for that many consecutive years.
Well, who's going to be? So right now it's the Jets currently, and you would think once they acquire Aaron Rodgers and everything, they will not have a playoff drought anymore. So who's next on that list? Do we know?
Oh no, let me look it up.
All right, we got time in this crazy thing we call a podcast.
Let's see the 10. Okay, well, luckily we got 10 long or 12 longest. So we got the Jets.
Okay.
Luckily, Fox Sports created a whole website so we could have this discussion.
Thank God for Fox.
Yeah, thank God for Fox. All right, so Kings make playoffs, 12 longest active professional droughts. We got the Jets at 12 seasons, so that's going to be
2010.
That's probably going to be done.
Yeah.
That doesn't even feel that long.
Oh, the Sabres.
Yeah, they're still going to be there. I don't think the Sabres are that good this year.
No.
Unless, or actually, no, they are. It looks like they're going to have a playoff spot this year. So that playoff is
seriously.
That drought's going to be over by the looks of it.
Okay. Yeah. Tigers. I wouldn't say are making the playoffs this year.
No, Tigers are going to be. Tigers are going to be a while, but they're probably going to leapfrog both. So, well, hang on. We
got the Angels.
Let me look up the playoff picture here just to make sure. I want to be sure here because
we don't do a lot of hockey talk on this podcast.
No, we do not. We are not spitting chicklets.
Ooh. But I mean, why sharks are terrible.
Oh no, looks like they're in the hunt, so they have a chance. So there's a chance that it's going to continue after this season. So, I just stopped sharing it. But
no, it's all good. I mean, I do love the Stanley Cup playoffs, but I'll be watching see if the Sabres make it.
Yeah, the Angels, that could maybe change.
It could, but you have to think with Anthony Rendon being suspended for the rest of the season after he fought that fan is going to have some effects on the team.
Yeah, that was a good try. Good try.
Damn it.
Good try. Yeah, hey, that was organic though. I applaud you for that one.
We'll talk about that one if we could pull up that video later on.
Definitely.
Well, Broncos, yeah, I mean, all in all, Rangers. good for the Kings. Maybe we'll see the Warriors play them in the first round. But I'm feeling better about the team. I don't know about them defensively right now. Um, as you fight the cat off.
Damn spray bottle, man. It doesn't work. Get over with. She's biting all these boxes, dude. It's really annoying.
Pack your boxes away. You've been there for a couple weeks now. Let's go.
Dude,
Find your microphone.
well, I told you I found the microphone. I can show you the microphone. I don't have the adapter to plug it in.
Find the adapter.
I need to find the adapter. I have the microphone. It's really bothering me. But
All
I got
good.
the table set up though, so we're halfway there. Anyway,
Cool.
come over sometime.
I will. We'll go hiking. Um,
Hiking
the,
with just your opinion, man. It's a great idea.
I kind of like it. It's like Kevin Nealon's. I told you about it. His walking podcast show.
Yeah.
We hikes
Yeah.
around L.A.
Yeah. Oh wow. We just stole that from Kevin
the
Nealon.
ball. Be the ball.
Feel the ball.
But yeah, I think that the Warriors are playing better. But like I said, like I told you a couple weeks ago, I still like their chances against most of these teams in a series if they avoid the play-in. I think they will avoid the play-in. I think they have a good chance to get the 5 seed, as we talked about. But I like their chances. Do I feel as confident as in years past? Absolutely not. We still got 4 games remaining. If they had managed to beat the Nuggets tomorrow and Jokic plays, that'll be very impressive. If they beat the Kings in Sacramento, that'll be very impressive too. But I think they could very well do that. We'll see how they finish up the season. But am I as confident in years past? No. They got to make some big changes, I think. And we also got this report yesterday from Jason Dumas. I don't know. I mean, like, I believe him, but I don't know how much this means as far as Andrew Wiggins will be back with the team. Yesterday, he reported that Andrew Wiggins is back in the Bay Area, where he was not for the time that he stayed away from the team. So I don't know what to make of all that. I don't know if Andrew Wiggins is coming back at all, and I think that we should just not expect that at this point. But if it does, that would be a great thing to happen and come playoff time. But yeah, like I said, Steven, good for the Warriors to be on the verge of the playoffs. Hopefully avoid the play-in, but I'm not as confident as in years past, obviously.
I think my question is, do you think that Andrew Wiggins would make the Warriors a better version of what they are right now? Because it feels like they have I know that some of these games have really been a struggle, especially the way that they've started out these first quarters, but they've managed to get it done in the second half. Like, to me, if Andrew Wiggins comes back, the one thing that you're sacrificing is the rotation with Jonathan Kuminga. Like, Kuminga's really seemed to have come to his own lately. And since that time when Andrew Wiggins first got hurt, like, it looked like he was finding a groove a little bit. Then when Andrew Wiggins came back, it was put to the side. It was more focused on Andrew Wiggins in the starting 5 as opposed to Kuminga. I just don't know if Wiggins would be the same player if he comes back. I like, at least for this season. For next season, I think for his best interest, if this is truly bothered him to the point where he's been out for literally the last half of the season, or at least the last third of the season. I don't know, man. I don't know. It just feels like they might as well just stick with what they got, and this is how they should enter the playoffs.
Well, the best case scenario would be for Andrew Wiggins to come back on Monday, and then they announce that he's returning, and then he takes the time off he needs to get up to speed and to get back in basketball shape, and then be ready for the playoffs, because there will be a play-in tournament week by for the non-play-in teams. I don't know, Steven. I mean, I like the team better with Andrew Wiggins than without him. I understand that it may be a feeling out period because he's been gone from the team for so long. I like
is that a dumb question? Just asking, would they improve if he was to come back?
No, that's a valid question to have, because to be completely honest, he wasn't great before he took this hiatus.
Right.
So, but I don't think we shouldn't be saying like, well, that's taking away minutes from Jonathan Kuminga. That's why I wouldn't play Andrew Wiggins. No, if Andrew Wiggins is good to go and he's in basketball shapes, then he should play. There could be the argument to be made that he plays with the second team and comes off the bench at first because he's been gone for so long. I don't know what the perfect answer is. I like them better with Andrew Wiggins, though, if he's willing to play.
Yeah, but they've also the thing with Wiggins too is, man, when they changed his spot in the rotation, when it was really just him and Kuminga coming off the bench one time, I remember it was like them two, they were the premier scorers, and everyone else, or it was him and Jordan Poole. It was those two guys, and no one else could score. It was basically on offense, you were 2-on-5 is what it was, and it was really just Poole and Wiggins like taking turns basically in isolation ball. Man, that's a lot to figure out because if I remember, I could be remembering this wrong, and maybe this just happened for a segment of the season. But I remember like when Steph would go to the bench, and it would just be Wiggins and Poole on the floor, like they would struggle. I remember that. I don't remember if it was for like a full season, or I don't remember if it was just for a little bit of time. Maybe it was when Steph was hurt toward the end of last year. I can't even remember, but I do remember that Wiggins coming off the bench was tough to watch. It sounds.
I mean,
playing with the second unit at least, not coming off the bench.
It could be tough to watch in general if he comes back.
Yeah, but you know what? If he can come back and play a little bit of defense and rebound, the thing that made him special, like the thing that separates him, then come back, Wiggs. Come back. We need you. If you could just rebound and play defense, then I'm good. And that's something the Warriors can figure out.
Yeah. No, we shall see. We shall see with a week left in the season, pretty much. But we got a new season starting up in sports. Baseball season started up on Thursday with the Giants opening up their season in New York at Yankee Park, if you're asking the mayor of New York, at Yankee Stadium. You see that?
No.
Eric Adams. I think that's his name, the mayor of New York.
Mm.
He was like, well, I'm glad everybody's out here at Yankee Park. It's like, oof.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. Must be a Mets fan.
Yeah. Maybe just not a baseball fan in general. Even if you're a Mets fan, you would know where the Yankees play. But yeah, the Yankees and Giants played on Thursday, and at 10 a.m. It's a nice little open to the season during breakfast, and right away, if it wasn't ironic enough, with the Giants playing the Yankees to begin with, Arson Judge goes yard in his first at bat against Logan Webb. Logan Webb had a great outing. So did Garrett Cole. But I think those 23 strikeouts between the two of them, which was an opening day record, was kind of misleading just because I don't think the bats are ready to go for either team. Despite the Yankees hitting 3 home runs, it wasn't like, I don't know. I just think that no one was really ready to play yet. So, and this is kind of going to be, I like the reaction, like the NFL, like week 1 reaction to the Giants losing 5-0 to the Yankees. Kind of what we expected a little bit. Like, I'm going to ask you as a fan, Steve, were you that surprised with the outcome on Thursday?
No, it's not being surprised by the outcome. I think what really got to people was the lineup that they put together. It's like you're starting Blake Sabol in left field, who's never played in a game, who couldn't, like, I get that he had a fantastic spring, and you're happy you took him in the Rule 5 draft, but the Rule 5 draft is like, and this is going to be a disrespect to Sabol, and I don't mean to, but Rule 5 drafts are these guys who couldn't make it to the 40-man rosters on their previous team, and I think for him it was the Pirates, so they're starting him in left. You get Roberto Perez starting at catcher, and you're instantly starting a veteran over Joey Bart, and it's pretty clear now that Joey Bart, that train is on its way out. That train is going from Embarcadero, and now do they have a BART station that goes to, I don't know, Sacramento? Like, do they have a?
Unfortunately, they don't. The BART service is going to be out of service soon.
Yes, and so that's coming to an end. It's just the lineup that they're throwing out there, man. And then that trade that they made last second, where it's like Bryce Johnson does all he could. He goes off in spring, kind of like Blake Sabol does, and he doesn't even make the opening day roster. And instead, you trade for Matt Beatty. I just, it's what they're doing with the lineup, I think, is why people were pissed at the outcome. It's not so much the outcome; it's how it was all constructed.
Well, what about the acquisition of Gary Sanchez?
Yeah, that's fine.
That's but okay. It's telling for Joey Bart.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, the writing's been on the wall since Patrick Bailey was drafted in the first place.
Yeah. Well, Farhan came on with us after the game and basically said if Bart keeps doing the same things he did last year, that we will have reason to bring in more competition. He also said that they're going to, give Bart his opportunities. Tom even asked him about, what's the deal with Wilmer Flores batting third? He's not. I don't see him as that kind of guy, and Farhan even agreed with him. It seems to be a kind of a disconnect between what they do on the field to then what they say outside of the game itself. Like
Yep.
Gabe kind of, justifies it, but also kind of goes against it. I really don't know what the game plan is. I'm not gonna act like I know either, not because I'm not a Giants fan, but I understand people's frustration a little bit. Like it all stems to the offseason, this close to getting Judge, or so we thought. Probably was never part of the equation. Sounds like they were actually closer. He was actually closer to making a deal with the Padres than he was with the Giants. Then the Carlos Correa fiasco, and then being left with what you have on the team now with Mitch Haniger and whoever else they got this offseason, Michael Conforto. It's going to be a long season, I believe. And I also read from Andrew Baggerly's piece that the organization's full intention is to extend Farhan and have him be the general manager for the foreseeable future. And I don't know how Giants fans feel about that. So, Steven, I will let you, as a non-KBR employee, say what you want to feel about the Giants and Farhan and your whole feelings on this season after what you saw on Thursday.
Well, the thing is, Farhan's just positive about everything. It's like he's very political with his answers. I don't know how he operates. I don't get I don't get it. Like, I just don't get it. I'm not going to sit here and act like I do. I think I do, which is, the simple offseason strategy of buying these guys at low value in hopes that you can squeeze out possibly their best season, and then eventually you let them walk in free agency. Like, I can live with that with some of these guys. But when you don't make an offseason acquisition like you did with Judge, and you make all these moves with a younger guy in Bryce Johnson, like the Bryce Johnson one's the one for me where it's like you got this dude who's like a utility player, and like he can steal bases, get you hits, hit with power, and he's showing like that he was going all out in spring training. I think he led the entire league in stolen bases. Like, what kind of value does everyone else have on this team, especially with the amount of guys that are getting hurt? So I really don't understand it. I still maintain that he had a good offseason as far as like after the whole Judge and Correa thing. Like, that crop of players that he got, they're good, but it's just the way that they're constructing their lineup now. It's you add a veteran catcher like in February, and then you're putting him on the opening day roster instead of Joey Bart. All right, well, now you sign Gary Sanchez. You've told us he's gone out the door. I'm rambling here, but the reason I'm rambling, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about Farhan. I want to trust him because I'm an analytics guy. I love them, and I think, I think that they show a different side of the game, and people kind of look at it from just a perspective, from a very just front page perspective, so to speak, where it's just like they're looking at the headline of analytics and then not really looking too deep into it and don't really care to hear anything else about it. I love him. And Farhan, I thought coming from the Dodgers, he'd be unreal in terms of drafting players and calling guys up. And it seems like he's found these guys, but it's like, what are you going to do? Like, here's the thing. Let me take a look at these top prospects. Kyle Harrison, starting in AAA. Farhan says we want him called up as soon as possible, but we're worried about his command right now. If you don't call him up in May, then you've lied to the people, because he basically said, yeah, he's going to be called hopefully sometime soon. May was the thought. So if you don't call him up in May, like by the time next month comes around and he's got a few starts in AAA, okay. Marco Luciano, dealing with some injuries. Grant McRae, he's awesome. Saw him a lot in San Jose last year. Casey Schmidt's the next guy up who everyone's lauding. Vaughn Brown, Derek, you didn't hear too much about me with Vaughn Brown, but I'm obsessed with this dude. I think he's like going to be a really great outfielder. Luis Matos, awesome. Reggie Crawford, like he's starting out in rookie ball, want him to get promoted this year. They got a bunch of these prospects, man. It's just they have to wait and wait and wait, and it seems like he's just I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know what to make of it, man. It's hard.
Yeah, with Kyle Harrison, I've heard more maybe June, July.
Yeah.
especially if the team's not performing well. They'll bring him out, and that will be the attraction to go to the ballpark.
Yeah. So my thought is, should they give him an extension? I do think there's like,
It sounds like it's a done deal if you read that Andrew Bagley article.
yeah. Yeah, from Greg Johnson. Yeah,
Yes.
it
Yeah.
seems like that deal's there at least for next year. But he's not completely like useless as a GM. Like there is the one niche that he has, because the reason that he's getting these guys at low value, hoping to get one good year out of them. I think with Michael Conforto, you're going to see that. I think when Haniger comes back, I think you're going to see that. Um, I don't know about Ross Stripling yet. I don't know about him. Alex Cobb kind of had a resurgence last year, but but that's not what it's going to take to compete with these teams in the National League. Like that's just not what it's going to take. So I don't know. I don't know. He needs to. There's something he needs to change, and I don't know what that is. Just not a promising start, man. It's not promising.
Meanwhile, in Arlington, Texas, while the Giants scored no runs, the Texas Rangers were down 5-0 to the defending NL champion Philadelphia Phillies and stormed back to score 9 runs in the fourth inning to win that game 11-6 and give Bruce Bochy his first win as Rangers manager and the first opening day that he's had in 4 years. Steven, I ask you, do you think the Rangers will win more games than the Giants this season?
Yeah, yeah, I think so, because all you need is a over 500 record. Yeah, I think they're going to win more than 80 games this year. That's what I think the Giants are going to win. I think they're going to be hovering around that 79 to 80 range, which is what everyone had them projected at. So yeah, I think the Rangers are going to win more. The Rangers are
I
a more talented roster. What kind of question is that? Of course.
well, I don't know. Rangers haven't been in contention for quite some time. I know they made some changes. They got DeGrom, but he didn't look great in that first game against the Phillies. Yeah, I don't know. I think that Giants fans would react a certain way if that were the case.
Yeah, yeah, no, I think so. But um, if Bochy were managing the Giants right now and he returned to the Giants, I don't think the Giants are winning over 80 games. I'm not even like,
Not with this roster. I don't think Bochy would like this roster to begin with. I mean, and also I don't think he would like working with Farhan.
well, the
That was
analytics thing I think is a little overblown. Bochy's said that he likes analytics, so I don't know about that, but maybe.
to an extent. I mean, they are using it with the Rangers, but also it's old school Bruce Bochy. This is the way
Yeah,
I'm gonna manage my team.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be a long, long season for the Giants. Could be a good one, could be a bad one, but I love the overreaction after one game.
Yeah, well, that's natural. That's going to happen with everybody.
And of course,
I got
the irony of Arson Judge going long.
Yeah, that was I mean, he just served him one. That's so funny though. I laughed when I saw that.
Yeah,
I was like, "Oh my god, man. Like the first swing of the season and you're
yeah.
it's just gone." Dude's unbelievable.
Meanwhile, the other Bay Area team, the Oakland A's, took on Shohei Ohtani and the Angels on Thursday night. I went to the game. Good turnout, but probably the best turnout you're going to have for the A's all season. A's fans show up usually for opening day, but of course, you add Shohei Ohtani coming to the Coliseum. That's going to add. There was more A's fans than Angels fans, but I think overall more baseball fans in general that just wanted to see this guy. And I was walking to my seat right when he was pitching in the first inning, and it was kind of Bonds like the way that people stopped where they were and watched him. And he is incredible. He dominated that game for the first 6 innings, 10 strikeouts, I think 2 hits, couple walks here or there, but
Yeah.
they were dominating that game. And then they pulled him. And that's just the way baseball is now. A certain number of pitches you throw, you're going to be pulled. The A's come back to win that game. But Shohei Ohtani was incredible. I mean, it was a blast to watch him live. And yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say the A's are going to be better than the Angels this season. I think it was just a fluke game to begin with. It was funny to watch, the A's and to look like who's part of this team right now. Oh, Ramon's still there. Cool. But yeah, I mean, it was just really fun to see Shohei Ohtani.
Esteury Ruiz, man. That's the guy. That's the guy who's going to produce runs for you.
Who?
Esteury Ruiz, the center
No,
fielder.
yeah.
The dude goes all the way to first and then scores all the way from home, first to
You know
home
what,
on that
man?
double.
I know that I'm getting shit for not knowing who's on this A's team, but to be completely honest, I'm kind of in the same boat with a lot of A's fans to the point where it's like, okay, cool, we start learning somebody's name, and then eventually he'll get traded.
Well, it's not even that. It's you're gonna. I mean, this is gonna be like the second to last season you'll watch the A's at the Coliseum anyway. So
I mean, you say that, but I mean, what team, what city's going to come to get them? Because
Vegas.
we do you really think? Okay, we had Fortaba on here, and I agree. Like, how long ago did Dave Cavill send out that tweet about the Vegas Knights have a good, look at all the fans that are here. I know they're looking into Vegas. I don't think Vegas wants the A's.
I think they do. I think they do. They made it known. Like they've
When?
talked about it in the Las Vegas Review Journal. There's an article written a little while back where like the Vegas is like we're ready for a team, and the
Not
A's
the
are that
A's.
team. Yeah, they'll be
Really?
there. Yeah.
Who wrote this? Bring up this article.
All right, hang on.
While you do that, I mean, I know there was some good traction with the A's, and I guess the couple days ago with potentials, positive stuff with the Oakland side. But I don't know. I've been saying it for the longest. I'll believe it. I'll believe it when I see it when it comes to the A's staying in Oakland. And I'll believe it when I see it when it comes to the Vegas, contingent wanting the A's.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this though. What what let me see. What was the pitch clock like for you? Did the game go quick?
Yeah, I actually, I mean, it's going to screw me with having day games and then having full radio shows. But as far as going to a game, like it felt quick. Got in my seat by 7:15. Missed the first couple of innings. Saw Shohei. Then I was out of there by 9:30 ish,
Hmm.
10. Yeah, I kind of like the pitch clock, to be honest.
Well, what was your how'd it go for you with getting concessions and all that?
It was fine. It wasn't like last year. Last year was a sabotage situation with the A's where they were trying to make sure. I guess they wanted a good turnout for Shohei Ohtani. But a year ago, I forget who they were playing, but they started their homestead later than everybody else in baseball, and yet they were still not ready to open concessions for the fans. And that was total bullshit because they
Right.
wanted to show Major League Baseball, we don't have any fans.
Yeah.
And the
Uh,
A's actually do fairly well, even though they were the second lowest attended team on opening day next to the Devil Rays. Not the Devil Rays, sorry, the Rays. Bobcats. Arco. Um, but they usually have good turnouts, fairly. Like I think they had like 23,000 on
yeah.
Thursday. So it was fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because I
But like I
had
said, the most that they'll probably have this season.
the guy who my boss Don, he he went to the game and he comes up to me. He's like, you know, he's like the pitch clock is it's great, it's quick, and it's great for the viewer. He's like, but going to that game because he's a huge baseball fan, so he's been he likes you know he's not opposed to the pitch clock, but he time wasn't an issue for him, especially going to the ballpark. Like he likes the idea of going to the going to the game and spending the day there. He said, he's like, man, this new pitch clock thing, they're gonna have to modify it some way because he said at some point concessions are gonna go way down once fans realize, like, as opposed to maybe missing a half an inning, you could possibly miss an inning and a half just by going to get concessions in the middle of the game. And he says he thinks he was just he was just speculating, but he's like, man, I wouldn't be surprised if concessions go down and they do something to maybe not take away the pitch clock entirely, but maybe increase the time a little bit more. I don't know. He just said, man, concessions. I think they're going to go down. I think once the owners realize that their revenue is lower than previously, they're not going to be okay with this pitch clock anymore.
That could be the case. I did notice that a little bit. The lines were long in the Coliseum trying to get, a good round table pizza. And
Dude, okay, hang on real quick. Did that go downhill? Like you've been going to Ace games for a while. Did those
yeah,
go? Did those used to be good, or is that just like a, like you're wondering mint as a kid, and it's like, oh my
no, no,
god,
no,
we got a
no.
pizza at a game.
As recent as a couple seasons ago, I remember round table pizzas at the Coliseum being great, and visually they look amazing too. Just look all cheesy and doughy and greasy, beautiful. Elena and I always talk about how beautiful the round table pizzas at the Coliseum look. But I will say, the one that I got on Thursday did not look great and did not look fully cooked. And I was like, fuck. Still going to eat this. But
How'd it go? Was it undercooked?
It was fine. It was a pizza, but it didn't have the display of a great round table pizza. But you best believe I did. I didn't see. That's the thing. The game went by so quick. I didn't have time to get more food, so I just got the round table pizza, a couple beers. I was still hungry. Walked outside with my little brother. I was like, thank God for the Coliseum hot dogs wrapped around in bacon. So I got one.
Yeah, that's a classic. But I think that's the point, man. Is like people aren't going to be getting up all the time to get concessions. It's not going to be. It's not like an issue for the fan. Like the fans, they're just going to eat less. But also, I do wonder, like, how many people are going to want to take the A's out of this equation because, I mean, I guess relative to the product that they're putting out on the field, the tickets are slightly expensive. But like, let's just say you're going to a Giants game and you're taking your kids and you're sitting in like the first deck, and let's just say tickets average $100. I mean, let's say you're a family of four. You're paying $400 to take your family out there, and it's a 2.5 hour game. You're basically paying like $200 an hour alone. And then on the top of that, you got to get concessions, you got to get food, which is probably like another couple of hundred, maybe. Like I don't know how much a family of four would take to pay for at a baseball game, but maybe a little less than that. But like, I don't know. I mean, are people going to find it worth it? I guess is the question for me.
I don't know. I mean, people want to drink beer during a baseball game, so I think people always buy beer. But
That's
it's
the thing.
but it's a question of food. I like, you could bring food in, like if you want to like pack your own snacks, you could bring them into the baseball stadiums, right?
I
Yeah,
believe
you
so.
can. Yeah, maybe just pack a lunch. You'll be there quick enough.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a good point, Steven. Like especially at Giants games, takes a while to get the garlic fries, takes a while to get the crab sandwiches. Yeah, it could be where you miss a good deal of the game.
You stand out there in center field, man, at Oracle Park.
Yeah.
You go out there in like the third. You go out there in the third. You're going to be back in your seat by the seventh by the time you get like a crab sandwich or the crab fries, whatever they're, whatever something new is. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I love it from a TV standpoint and from a morning show standpoint. It's like these games start at 7 and they're going to end at 9:30 on average. Let's go.
Yeah.
This is like a Warriors game, but as far as like the experience of going there, might take it away a little bit.
That could be the case. That could be the case.
Yeah.
Also, so Giants didn't play yesterday. Neither did the A's. The A's one doesn't make sense to me at all because the Giants one is justified in the sense that they want to avoid a rain delay with the Yankees, even though they may have one today in the next couple of hours here when they play the second game of the series. But the A's not playing last night against the Angels is ridiculous to me. Like I said at the beginning of the episode, I don't understand this whole we're going to have a big thing for opening day and then only have 5 games yesterday. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's stupid. Can we also talk about the thing you brought up earlier too?
Anthony Rendon?
And the A's and the Angels. Yes, sir.
So I didn't see this until the next day. Anyone that knows the Coliseum, the opposing team cannot enter the clubhouse from their dugout. So this would have been avoided if they were at another ballpark. But you know what? Fuck all of you. I like the Coliseum. So when the Angels had to walk from their dugout back to the clubhouse, I guess an A's fan said something to Anthony Rendon, and this is what happened.
What you say? Yeah, you called me a bitch, huh? Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah, motherfucker. Calm down. What you say?
And he takes a swipe at him.
Yeah, that kind of sounded like you at the end.
Yeah, you called me a bitch, huh? Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah, motherfucker. Calm down.
Me with the calm down?
Yeah, calm down.
Calm
Also,
your
though,
tits, everybody.
What is this dude in the background doing with the badge? Is that like a badge? Is that a walkie-talkie? It looks like that's some sort of security, right?
Where are you talking about?
Yeah, you called me a
The guy in the background there, or is that like an EMT? Is that like a medic? that's not his job. Probably isn't his job.
Oh, where? The guy behind Rendon?
The two guys in the back there.
Yeah, I think they're just actually have no idea.
I mean, they have a walkie-talkie, so I assume they were like security or something, but maybe not.
Could they interfere with Rendon there?
Could they
Probably.
have?
Yeah, you did.
They probably
Yeah, you
should have.
did. Yeah, motherfucker. Calm down.
Calm down.
But-
Okay,
But
this-
I have a feeling that that was not their job, because that hand in the pockets. Oh, what's happening over there? That's the perfect. Hey, that ain't my gig. That's not my gig. I'm not doing.
Yeah.
I'm not intervening there.
I would say that that's a bad look for Rendon. And, you know, fans, they're going to say shit to you. So it is what it is. Like, I guess he called him a bitch. So, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, is that the worst thing you've heard, Rendon? Like, he hasn't played well in quite some time. Not to justify someone calling somebody that, but also, like, that's just fan behavior. It's going to happen sometimes. You got to just, put your head forward and ignore it. But for him to grab that guy and then potentially take a swipe at him, he's going to be suspended. I was joking earlier, like April Fool's Day joke, that he would be suspended the rest of the season. I would say it's going to be a significant suspension, probably like maybe 10 games.
I don't know what it's going to be, but I do agree that it's going to be a suspension, not a season-long suspension like you tried to fool me with. It was really quick on your part, but you didn't get it. You didn't get it. But yeah, and I don't know. I go back and forth too on the whole. Fans don't have the right to say that to players, and no, they don't. But I also think, I think athletes. It depends. It really depends. I don't. Because there's times where fans have said stuff about their family, have said some sort of slur that's like legitimately offensive and all that. But if that's all that was said to Rendon, I don't know, man. I can't get inside these guys' heads. I go back and forth on that one. You know what I mean?
Well, it's also a bad look considering how poorly he's played since he's become an Angel.
Yeah. I mean, they're paying him $36 million a year.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's his stat line looking like lately? Because when he was with the Cardinals, man, he was sick.
Yeah.
Like before he came to the Angels, he was or Nationals, excuse me, not the Cardinals. Damn, yeah. It's just been downhill, and plus he's also gotten hurt. He was hurt in all of 2021, and he's really been hurt his entire Angels tenure, really.
My favorite part of that whole interaction is you see Shohei pass up Rendon on the walkway to almost be like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Really? I didn't notice that. Hang on.
Pull it up again. You'll see
Pull it
Shohei you'll see Shohei pass Rendon.
All right.
What you say? Yeah, you called me a bitch, huh? Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah,
There's
motherfucker.
Trout and there's Ohtani. How symbolic is that? Those two guys just being like, good God.
Yeah, it's stupid. And I don't know. It's like, I also like the fact that he says, say it to my face. Well, the fan kind of did. I mean, he's right there, and you had an opportunity to grab him and hit him. So he did say it to your face. It's a bad look. It's a bad look
all the way around.
Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah, for both. But, man, the A's are rolling 1-0. 162-0 on the table.
There you go, man. Double the run total of the Giants.
Yeah, so did everyone. Oh, my God. Terrible.
Speaking of not a good look, Jalen Carter, not a good look with what's happened to him in the past month when he went to the NFL Combine, and then it came out that he got arrested for, what was it, speeding or
so he got arrested.
Reckless driving, I should say, not speeding. You don't get arrested for speeding.
Reckless driving and racing, both demeanors,
which led to a teammate's death, unfortunately.
Yeah, and the trainer. So he was in the other car, in the car with the two passengers. The fatal accident was the other car, and supposedly with Carter, he fled the scene. Then he came back, and then he told police that he just came from a complex, but also then told police in another report that he was actually driving behind them and not racing alongside them. So he kind of gave conflicting accounts, and then they arrested him.
Well, it's come out that the Raiders have taken Jalen Carter off their draft board, along with other teams that have not been named. And some executives have come out and said, well, why would you do that? Why would you openly say that we're not interested in this player instead of just playing the old, smokescreen, or it could be smokescreen and then they draft Jalen Carter. But why would you openly say we're not interested in taking this player? I think it's kind of a disservice for the Raiders to do that because right now we're hearing everything from the Raiders could trade up to number 3 to take a quarterback, or they don't need to. Will Levis is falling out of favor maybe and not even get drafted in the first round. I love this time of year too, where everyone thinks that they know everything with the draft. And I will start boning up on draft and start watching a lot of the prospects now. But
You mean their highlight tape?
their highlight tape, yeah, I'll be watching some of that.
The highlights with no lowlights involved, and it's just only highlights.
I'm trying to find. There was such a great website back in the day. I forget the name of it. It was called Draft something, and it would highlight a player and show them how they played the entire game. And you would see how they would, how good they would be and how bad they would be. And yes, highlights don't tell the whole story, but I do need to be more familiar with possibly the quarterbacks that could be taken in this draft and the other players that the Raiders could be interested in. But, and I'll be watching a lot of more, draft. Was it Path of the Draft? I think it's coming back on NFL Network. I should know that show. I worked on it last year. But yeah, I thought it was just interesting that the Raiders, not as a team, issued that statement, but reports are coming out that they're not interested in Jalen Carter. And in the past, the Raiders have shied away from controversial people. It's been a real thing with the organization of they're not going to go after anybody that has some issues off the field. But I don't really know the whole story with this one. And I do think Jalen Carter will still be a top 10 pick. And we'll see what the Raiders do. If they feel they don't need to go after a quarterback with the 7th pick, if they could just wait and maybe have Will Levis fall there or Anthony Richardson fall there. But I have to believe that's not going to be the case. Got to see what the Colts are going to do at 4. I thought it was just interesting that report would come out that the Raiders would just totally say we're not going to be interested in this guy. He's off our draft board.
Well, he denied it, right?
Who denied it?
McDaniels. He denied that report.
Did he?
Yeah, it came out that he denied it. But I don't know. I mean, you know who had the McDaniels quote? Vinny.
Oh, my guy?
Yeah, Vinny Bonsignore. He is yeah, so I do think that he speaks for the Raiders in some sense. And I think there is a sense of more of sense and truth. So when Vic Tafur was the first to report it, and I mean we all love Vic Tafur, and he's been with the Raiders for years. And it seems like Vinny's been kind of for the team. So I'm gonna move off that one. I don't know. Plus, Vinny never retweeted that damn interview I did with him.
What was that?
I did one for Black Hole Sundays once.
Oh, nice. Vinny came on?
Yeah. You know what I was thinking about, by the way? Just random. When we were doing, with Jalen Carter, that's a tough one. The whole story, I pretty much gave you, the gist of it. But he also, Carter says, because the reason that his warrant was put out was for the arrest was based on some reporting from the Athens, something in Georgia, some publication in Georgia. And that's when police put out the warrant for his arrest, was after those reports. But then he says those reports are patently false and that he will be, exonerated of any wrongdoing off of that. So really, none of us know the real truth. And I think that's what makes it tough.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see what happens, and we'll see if his draft stock falls a lot before the draft. But we still got a time, still got a whole lot of time. It's April 1st, and the draft is not until April 27th. So a lot of time for the Raiders to make a move, maybe to come up to 3 or to stay at 7. If you're leaning right now, Steven, which quarterback would you rather have? Because I know we talked about this in the past, but I've been hearing that Will Levis is kind of dropping a little bit, and Anthony Richardson is the guy, and I guess Josh McDaniels wined and dined with Anthony Richardson the other night after his pro day. There's also a lot of buzz around Hendon Hooker, huh?
Yeah.
I A lot of hookers to begin with in Vegas, but you get one on the field too, possibly.
So many sponsorship deals, so many sponsorship opportunities.
He'll be the leader at the Bunny Ranch over Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, God, I didn't see much of Anthony Richardson's pro day. I saw just a 60-yard bomb, just effortless, and then I saw after that 60-yard bomb an effortless backflip.
Yes,
that's all I need. That's all I needed to see. I'm like, I'm good. I don't need to see anything else. This dude's an athletic freak. Go get him.
Yeah, but also Trey Lance was supposed to be an athletic freak, and now we're hearing that the Niners are going to trade him before the draft.
Well, yeah,
I'm not
Trey
buying
Lance
that either.
But Trey Lance played for North Dakota State, and Anthony Richardson played for Florida, and he actually played.
That's true. That is true. I need to study more on Anthony Richardson actually playing, but yeah, I don't know which way right now. I think that Will Levis is a freak in his own way. Not an athletic freak, just a freak in putting mayonnaise in his coffee and drinking bananas with a peel on and being afraid of milk. But if he's a good quarterback, he's a good quarterback. So I don't know right now. And yeah, we'll see what happens with the draft. I don't know. That's the bottom line. Brought up this topic just to tell you I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's fair.
It's fair enough.
Speaking of fans interacting with games, I just want to bring this up. Did you see the tackle made by the Dodger security on the fan that's proposed to his girlfriend?
The Dodger person who controls the music needs a raise.
That was good timing.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they have that at the ready for when fans run out on the field.
I just like the form tackle by the Dodger security guard, just laying him
really
the fuck
good.
out.
Well, I mean, the guy's on his knee, you know? It's like you're opening it up, but I also like the outfielder's reaction to it.
Hold on, play it again one more time.
Wow, watch the outfielder.
He ducked.
He's like, oh! He had the best view.
Now, I guess the story is that after that guy proposed to his girlfriend, so what was the whole? So he proposed on the field, took a knee. She's in the stands, reacts, and then I guess she said yes once he got out of jail the next day or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, they posted it on Instagram.
Yeah, I don't know. Baseball proposals in general are stupid to me. There was one made during the Giants exhibition game against the A's. So, like, you're really going to propose to somebody during an exhibition game?
Well, maybe holds a special meaning, Derek, to this couple and what they, maybe they went on like their first date to a Giants and A's game and they couldn't make it during the summer, so they had to do it during the exhibition. I don't know.
No. In the words of Adam Copeland, it's an exhibition proposal, in my opinion, then.
This is true. Well, it's not your opinion if it's Adam's. So
that's true.
Into that one.
Just Cope's opinion, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I am with Copes on this one. I texted you this, and I texted him that morning of baseball starting.
Oh, yeah.
You and I use YouTube TV, along with a lot of people, and it's great service. I think it's the best thing in TV right now, better than cable, obviously. Cheaper than cable, but they're upping the prices. And they're going to up it more once football season starts with Sunday Ticket if you want that. And I'm sure most of the football watching community, which is most of America, will want that. You're not going to have MLB Network. Like, we are in day 3 now of baseball returning for the regular season. And usually YouTube TV figures out their shit. But Thursday morning rolls around and I can't go to Matt Vasgersian or whoever on MLB Network. It's still not available on YouTube TV. It's ridiculous.
I'm not going to complain about games because I got a MLB TV account that I took. So,
I got that too, but I'm paying for the service, and I think should have all the channels that are supposed to come with it. I think double check that's still not on there.
I personally think MLB Network's got I personally think MLB Network's got the best programming out of all. Well, I can't speak for the NHL Network, but
Yep.
I think the MLB.
Still no MLB Network.
I think it's got the best programming out of all those sports affiliated networks. I think their shows are, because all the other sports, like
You like high heat? Huh?
right now, they're all about. I mean, except for that one, but all these other sports.
Is that the
are
Cruz
like,
Russo one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't really know what intentional talk is like now because Chris Rose is gone from that. So maybe MLB
What a
Network's
mistake.
gone downhill in that regard. But I think that like as far as their sport alone, it's not like the NBA and the NFL, which just thrives off drama. You know, it's like the NBA. It's just constantly talking about player movement and this player's returning and all this sort of stuff. Like MLB Network actually focuses on the games and focuses on the players and doesn't come out with a bunch of just like hot
take bullshit.
debate, argument, whatever. Like I think Mark DeRosa is like I was watching with the sound off and just watching him break down swings with like this side by side view. I think there's maybe it's because I love baseball. Maybe I'm biased in that regard, but I think personally MLB Network's got the best programming. So say all that to say, yeah, bullshit that YouTube TV doesn't have it. They should.
It's ridiculous.
They should.
Yep. Get your shit together, YouTube TV. You're a great service, but you need to rectify this.
They are in negotiations, according to Ernie. So we are gonna Ernie looking it up. This is the beauty of
they're in negotiations, but they're 3 days late to these negotiations deadlines, in my opinion.
Why? Okay, hang on. Let's read this together. Okay, I'm not gonna just sit here and be silent. But why YouTube TV dropped MLB Network? Gosh, damn it! Ahead of the 2023 deadline, Google MLB disagree on cost. Oh, there you go. It's a 3-minute read, Derek. It's okay. We can take 3 minutes. Maybe more than unpleasant surprise. Google unable to come up with an agreement, taking off 31st, about 2 weeks before spring training, and then they upped the costs and blah blah blah. Here's what you need to know. Why isn't it no longer on there? YouTube TV has been unwilling to negotiate a fair carriage agreement. MLB Network has offered terms consistent with what close to 300 other U.S. providers have agreed to for distribution. So it sounds like Google continuing to monopolize themselves. There's no good answer to this question as to when it will be back. Either Google or MLB will need to blink for MLB Network to be restored to YouTube TV. And according to YouTube's social media account, both sides are at work trying to bring the network back. But they would say that. And yeah, so it just sounds like YouTube TV upping the cost. I don't know.
Yeah, it's becoming a fuck you. You'll buy us.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, it's not the end of the world. Like, I have the MLB TV package too, so I'm able to watch all the out-of-market games. But it's also good to flip on MLB Network, and I paid for the damn thing to begin with, so it should be part of the package.
Agreed. Yeah, they need it there. MLB, they are missing out.
Totally missing out. All right, quick thing of pop culture catch-up.
Quick pop culture catch-up. All right, what do you want to catch up on?
Well, I caught up on Ted Lasso, and I watched the 3rd episode. Basically, that episode of when Zarva comes and joins the team is basically Zava.
Mm-hmm.
Basically what I envision it's going to be like once Aaron Rodgers joins the Jets locker room.
Yep.
That whole episode of him just sipping tea and meditating and him being bigger than the team itself. The way he looks too, he looks like Aaron Rodgers. That whole episode was basically, this is what it's going to look like when Aaron Rodgers joins the Jets.
Yeah, agreed. I'm telling you, Zava is Zlatan Ibrahimovic. That's what they're basing it off of.
Well, don't they have an exact quote of what you said last time where it's like, thank you? Like he was going to write, like on the contract, he doesn't sign his name. He just write, you're welcome.
Did he really write that?
I think that's a joke on the episode where they're waiting for him to come to the press conference and they're like, where the fuck is he? And who's the guy? Leslie, the guy that actually handles like football operations.
Yeah.
He turns to the owner and says like, well, actually he didn't write his name on the contract. He just wrote, thank you. Oh, he wrote, you're welcome.
So it is off Zlatan. I'm telling you, man.
That's the reference you brought up last time, yeah.
Yeah. This whole, I mean, when hang on, I got to pull it up over time, and I'm going to pull up closer too. when he took out a full page ad. This is back in 2018. Dear Los Angeles. He signs it with a little smiley face. And he says, "You're welcome." When he joined the Galaxy.
Kind of badass.
That is badass. That's how much confidence he has, man. Oh my god. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, solid episode, but the show's just kind of.
Oh, I'm back. I'm back in.
Yeah, I know.
I'm back in.
Yeah, I know. You
I'm
said
back
that.
in.
I know.
I'm back in. Feels great. Feels great to be back in the Ted Lasso thing. I don't need to stoop down to your level.
Oh, my level? And what's that?
Hating everything that's popular that lasts for longer than 2 years.
Yeah, I know. It was just the right show during COVID to get everybody happy, and then once it got a little too cheery and a little unrealistic, I was like, this is ridiculous. But I still watch because it's charming in its own way. And there are moments where I do laugh, like not like laugh on the floor laugh, but like, huh.
Well, what has made you laugh on the floor laugh?
Chris Rock's stand up.
Okay. Yeah. that's
Actually,
stand-up.
you know what? Another show. After South Park now, there's this new show called Digman
Heard about it.
with Andy Samberg as this Indiana Jones type, and he does the Nicolas Cage voice the whole time.
Right.
I've only watched the first 2 episodes. It is hilarious.
All right. Okay. I'll take a look at that.
Right up there with the usual Lonely Island humor. It's really funny.
So I didn't watch much TV. At least since we last did a pod. Have I? No, not really. But I guess it's just been sports really. But I did watch the Mark Twain Award for comedy or whatever that Adam Sandler got.
Adam Sandler?
Oh my gosh, I got emotional watching that.
Really?
Yeah, a little bit. Not a little bit emotional. Yeah,
Did Rob Schneider deliver like a heartfelt speech?
he did, and he made a joke about he's like he did make a joke about like I know what you're all thinking, like how does Sandler let me up here? He involves me in everything that I do, especially all the crazy shit that I said on Fox News and all this sort of stuff. He had the thing toward the end. He did acknowledge, like, we kind of make fun of Rob Schneider because everyone says that Adam Sandler gave him like his career, but I think he knows that. I don't think he's an idiot. Well, in some regards, but it was just emotional maybe because it's Adam Sandler. I don't know. He was like the voice of all of our childhoods. Any late 80s, 90s, or late 80s, early 90s babies knows like he's that dude, and it's just everything that he's done. I know the movies have sucked lately, but but who can blame him? The dude's making a ton of money and he's doing it with his friends, and he's not a dick. He's super laid back. He's just totally deserving of everything. Steve Buscemi's was the best though.
Oh yeah, I forgot Steve Buscemi used to be in Adam Sandler movies.
Yeah,
Crazy
right?
Eyes. What was it? Crazy Eyes Steve?
Yeah, he was that. He was he basically, I don't know if he intentionally did this, but he was
Airheads. Brendan Fraser, him and Steve Buscemi.
Airheads, yes. And the little cameo he had in Billy Madison too. The lipstick, but he basically played up on stage the character that he played in The Wedding Singer. He just had like a drink in his hands.
Yeah, damn.
Remember the drunk brother? I'm a person too, Pop. God damn it, I'm a person too.
Yeah, Steve Buscemi was in a lot of Adam Sandler movies. I forget.
Yeah, and you could tell though, like what was really cool about it all is, the way the families reacted to him. They didn't really react the same way, like to guys like David Spade and Rob Schneider, but like to Steve Buscemi, they had a reaction that was very, oh, we know this guy and we understand like his sense of humor, and they're laughing, and they just, the look on their faces when Steve was up there, you could tell like Sandler's kept him close in his life. I don't know. I just got pretty emotional because it's like, my God, my childhood's over.
I probably need to check it out. I saw that he was getting the honor, but I didn't watch any clips or anything.
Yeah, David Spade does his thing. David Spade's always he's really good at presenting and stuff like
Kevin
that.
James show up? I'm trying to think of who was in the Adam Sandler.
No, he
contingent.
didn't. He didn't, or at least he wasn't speaking. Chris Rock was there. Drew Barrymore. Can't really think of anyone Everyone else, I've pretty much named the speeches that were given.
Yeah, Norm's gone.
Yeah.
Conan?
Conan spoke.
Yeah.
Conan spoke. Yeah, that was really funny. That was really funny, actually. I forgot Conan spoke. Yeah, he did a good one.
I'll check it out then.
Yeah, man. It's just
So I know that Dave Chappelle has won this award in the past. It's the Mark Twain Award for comedy.
something like, I mean, that's paraphrasing it.
Because
For American humor.
Yeah, when I think of humor, the first name I think of is Mark Twain.
Right. It's presented, except named after, well, he was a humorist, I guess.
Sure.
So I don't know. Maybe have you read Mark Twain before?
Huckleberry Finn?
Yeah, have you?
Yeah. In school when I was told to.
Well, let's look up the winners here, shall we? Because
Sure.
it's a pretty prestigious honor. This is what.
No, I know it is. That's why I was kind of surprised that it's Sandman.
I think we're really enhancing the podcast with all these little websites that we're pulling up.
Aren't we? For a visual podcast.
I think so.
So you got Richard Pryor,
Jonathan Winters, Carl Reiner, Whoopi.
Whoopi.
Bob Newhart, Lily Tomlin, Lorne Michaels. By the way, all the Lorne Michaels impressions, it's funny whenever you hear yeah, exactly. And whenever you hear the former Saturday Night Live cast members talk about him, it's always like the same exact impression. It sounds like they're just doing a Dr. Evil.
Are you going to the after party? No.
Steve Martin, Neil Simon, Billy Crystal, George Carlin, Bill Cosby. Yikes. Tina Fey, Will Ferrell, Ellen DeGeneres. I remember when Will Ferrell
Jay
won it.
Leno.
His speech was funny. Oh, Jay Leno. Carol Burnett, Eddie Murphy, Bill Murray, David Letterman, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Dave Chappelle, Jon Stewart, then Adam Sandler.
Yeah, it's a prestigious award.
It's just, I'm glad he's being recognized still now in 2023. Just very happy about that.
He's doing a new movie, I think, with the Safdie bros that directed him in Uncut Gems.
Those guys are the future, man. They got some great ones. You ever seen that one that they did with Robert Pattinson? I think it was like their first.
Good Time. I didn't like as much as Uncut Gems, but I thought it was
Good Time.
Yeah, well-made movie. Well done.
Although kind of weird, in a sense, with the him and the underage girl. That was a little odd, but she was underage, right, in the movie.
She was pretty young.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure in the movie she was. I think that's what. Yeah. I think that's the whole point of what the director.
They're also not making the character the most noble person.
No, that's the whole thing. That's the whole point of it, and that's where it gets weird. It's like it makes you uncomfortable, and that's what happens in those movies. I mean, what's it called? That movie, The Good Person or A Good Person. It's obviously about Florence Pugh, but there's also like a 16-year-old in there, and like Morgan Freeman, she's Morgan Freeman's granddaughter, and like Morgan Freeman catches her in the bedroom. It's like it's weird. What?
I didn't know the whole details of the movie. I know you brought it up last time, but I didn't know it was I actually had no idea what it was about. I just knew Morgan Freeman was in a movie called The Good Person or A Good Person.
Yep. And he was a good person in the end. I like trains.
So you just gave it away then?
No, not necessarily.
All right, Steven. Anything on your so-called mind for the rest of this podcast?
My so-called mind?
Yeah, I was just trying to be a dick.
The hell you mean so-called mind? How does that mean?
I just told you. I was just trying to be a dick.
Nothing on my mind today. I just watched Chelsea lose to Aston Villa 2-0. So that's just a disaster continuing to happen. I'm going to the alumni game later. I'll be getting the final. I'll be trying to watch the Final Four on my phone during the actual game.
Final Four is happening today with a lot of upsets and not a lot of teams that are left in people's brackets.
Yeah.
But you're going to an alumni game at your old high school with Robert Turbin.
Yeah. He holds it every year. I can't remember who he's had. He's had, I mean, pretty much like since he was the backup on the Seahawks, he had like Russell Wilson. He had Bobby Wagner one year. And this year he's got Marshawn Lynch. And now you also got supposedly making an appearance. You know, we when you get older, you kind of realize like these rappers run on their own time, so they may or may not be there. But the ones that could be there, E40, Be Legit, um, God, who am I forgetting? Too Short's not going to be there, but I can't remember. But Marshawn is going to be the special guest, though. Marshawn is going to be the special guest. That's what's most important.
Damn.
Yeah.
And which
yeah.
and which high school is this?
Irvington in Fremont.
Irvington.
Mhm.
Is this like a only invite for the former alumni, or did you have to buy a ticket, or like how's this?
I had to buy it. Well, it's a charity event, so I bought a ticket. Yes, I bought
But
two.
you can't roll up and be like, Turbs, it's me, Stevie.
Now I don't know this for a fact, but I heard this from someone who knows him. But apparently, he listened to the pregame show before.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I had no idea. Like apparently, he has before and knows of me from the radio, which is weird.
All right.
So I don't know if I'm gonna walk up to him and necessarily be like, "Yo, what's up?" You know what I mean, and act like I've known
You
him
should do that. You should
my
just be
entire
like,
life.
you should just have the assumption that he knows you from
Yeah,
the radio
but
gig.
but let me say this about him though. It's so cool just seeing former athletes give back. It's like I know like he's been given so much back to the community that he grew up in. I know that he's been giving back to his high school year after year after year. Um, and and really it makes you appreciate like the other athletes too that do this because he doesn't have to. Like Turbin was with Seattle with Indy, and he doesn't have to do any of this. I don't know where he lives now, but I think it's I don't know. Yeah, he's a very admirable guy, and he has been really since high school. So it's cool to see him giving back, man. It really is.
It is, and it's a good opportunity for you to rub elbows with him and flex on him, and let him know that you're a big as star as he was.
No, I am not flexing on that. When he was at the combine?
Please, Stephen, as far as high school alumni for your high school, it's you and Turbs.
No, he bench pressed 225 28 times at the combine as a running back.
How many did you do?
220 what at the combine?
Not the combine, but back in the high school days.
How many did I do?
Did you play football with him?
No. God, no.
Oh.
No, he was on the team when it was actually good. That was he was a senior in 2006 or 2007. So it was right before.
Hey, 2006, last time the Kings made the playoffs.
But that was when my brother was there in high school, and he was a year older than him, so I was always at those games. So watching him was just those teams were so good. They made it they played at the Coliseum. They played against San Ramon Valley, I think, for the championship for the NCS title.
Who won?
I can't remember. Actually, I think Irvington did. I think we did. Did we win the title that year? I think we did. But it was really cool, man. He was, he was. I think he was a safety and a a wide receiver. I think he was a wide receiver actually. So, man, he was a beast.
You should flex on him.
No, I'm not doing that. He led all running backs with 28 reps that year. It's crazy.
He's a beast, and beast mode will be there. So have fun with that. You gonna try to talk to Marshawn?
Of course. Well, my brother, there's a meet and greet for him, and my brother's going, and he's paid for the meet and greet. So I don't know if I'm gonna go join him in that line, but it's gonna be really funny.
That's probably gonna be a long ass line
because my brother is bringing his two kids. My little 6-year-old niece and my little can't remember if he's 2 or 3 now. My little nephew, watching them meet Marshawn, he's so funny. Oh man, it's the funny part because my brother's like, yeah, I'm gonna take them so they can meet Marshawn. I'm like, no, you are going to meet Marshawn. You're doing this for you. You're not doing this for your kids.
That's like the typical like, oh yeah, my kids want to meet Marshawn so bad, right, kids? Who?
Yeah. Like there's an example one time when my niece was barely 2 years old, couldn't walk yet. She just over 1 years old. Like my brother texts us and says like, hey, Geneva met Ricky Henderson at her first A's game because they were at the first A's game. Then he showed me the picture, and my brother has the biggest smile that I've ever seen on anyone's face. I'm like, oh, Geneva met him? Really? No, you did. She just so happened to be there.
Well, Stephen, as we all know, the whole point of children is fulfilling your own wishes and desires that you never got.
It's so funny. He's gonna have a huge smile when he meets Marshawn too.
As he should. As he should. All right. And on that note,
what's on your mind, Derek? What do you got on your mind?
pretty much have said everything. Well, okay. Do you really want to know? Like, there's one thing I thought about bringing up, but I don't know if it's a little too much for this podcast. But hell, I'll do it. Have you seen this Barstool video? Actually, Barstool tweeted it out, but I don't think it came from Barstool. Have you seen this OnlyFan? This woman who suggests that to keep men happy. You have seen this?
Yeah. Yep.
They need to nut 6 times a day.
Yeah.
Can we play the video real quick? Because I know we've gone past our time here, but this just made me laugh. The whole video just made me laugh.
All right, let me pull it up real quick. I saw this. I absolutely regret
asking me what's on my mind.
I 100% regret asking you this. I can't seem to find it though. I'm genuine. Okay, here we go. This is great. All right, fantastic.
Going in overtime.
Yeah. Oh God. All right. Oh boy. All right. 1 second.
Going to be the explicit part of the podcast here, if it's not already.
This is going to ruin my algorithm. All right.
And for wanting to have, that girl power, proud thing that all these women have going on. I mean, I don't knock women for feeling proud and for wanting to have, that girl power and holding things over him. But no, you've got to give it up, ladies. I please my man in every way, all the ways. Wake him up, he gets to nut. Or he leaves out the door, he's leaving empty nuts. At work, I am calling him like, come outside, it's your lunch break. It's time for you to get your nut off. When he gets home, he's getting fed. He is getting another nut and one before bed, or 2 if he's lucky. That's it. That's the secret.
6, 7? That's a lot.
Is her boyfriend a squirrel?
About to say. The best part is when she goes, he's on his lunch break. I'm going to his work. It's like, Johnson, you've been late for, coming out of your lunch break for the past week and a half here. What's the well, sir, I have to get my, as doctors recommend, or just my girlfriend, I do have to get my nut off, 6 or 7 times a day.
What's sad is I saw that a very long time ago. This girl's been circulating the social medias for a couple of months. There's an account called No Jumper, which posts a lot of things, and I don't know. I don't know why I follow it, because they posted that, and I looked at it. I'm like, what is she talking about? This person should not be giving advice to anybody if that's it.
I love it,
Lord, man.
I love it how she prefaces by saying, like, I'm all for female empowerment and girl movement and everything, but the key to success in life is to make sure you're man.
It's just like, dude, what? Society though, like, there are people that are going to listen to that and they're going to be like, oh wow, she may be speaking some sense here.
Sure, yeah, the world would be a better place if men just 6 times a day.
It's too much, bro. Like, whatever parents see that,
yeah,
like, what the hell, man?
Anyway, that was on my mind, and I think it's a good spot to end the podcast. God, we went long today. I think talking about nothing. We talked about nothing today.
So the Seinfeld show is this. I mean, should we change should we do it like pop culture catch up, and then just at the end, what's on your mind? Is that what we should do here? Yeah,
what's on your mind, Stephen?
Mm-hmm. Jesse's gonna be like, "What the hell were you doing?" She's like, Actually, you know what? After watching that video, Jesse.
Oh my God. And on that note, I'll end it there. Now you're in trouble, Stephen. Say what you always say.
Just repeat that.